Hi, I'm Steve Richardson. I'm a traffic court defense attorney here in Southern New Jersey. Now, hopefully, you haven't been pulled over for a ticket in New Jersey for traffic violation, and hopefully in the future you won't. But just as a little bit of preventative advice, I wanted to talk to you about the top 5 things that you shouldn't do if you're pulled over for a traffic ticket here in New Jersey, because there's some things that you can do that can just make matters worse. Even before you get to talk to an attorney about your tickets, you can make things worse than they could be under the circumstances. The first thing is, don't panic. If you're driving along and you see in your rear view mirror that those lights have been activated, oh geez, they're going to pull me over, don't panic. All right, it could be a routine thing. You might not have come to a complete stop at an intersection. You might have made a lane change without signaling properly. At worst, you could have just been speeding, gotten a little lead-footed. But don't panic. It probably isn't as bad as you think it is. All right, so that's the first thing. Don't panic. The second is, don't fail to pull over. When you see those lights, you realize that the officer wants you to pull over, do it. Find the safest place to do it. Take your first opportunity. You may not be able to do it right away because of road conditions or location where you are, but as soon as you possibly can, pull over to the side of the road. I've seen too many cases where people don't do it, and this makes matters worse because the officer could charge you with eluding, which is a much more serious charge, simply because you didn't pull over. So if you see those lights, pull over to the side of the road as soon as it's safe to do so. Number 3, don't be rude. The officer's just doing his job, okay? Don't argue with him. The side of the road is not the place to do that. And he's just doing his job. Now, a lot of times officers can be very intimidating. They come up, they're very stern, they're very serious. And this is only because they're on high alert. One of the 2 instances in which officers are most likely to be hurt is a motor vehicle stop or a domestic dispute. So they're just being very cautious. So be polite, provide your driver's license, insurance, and registration information, and be nice to the officer. Best thing you can do. I've had more than one case be difficult to deal with the prosecutor in court because the officer's ticked off because you were rude to him. So be nice. And the 5th thing is, don't be talkative. Some people are nervous talkers. They get stressed, they get nervous, the police have pulled them over, and they start chattering. And in the process, they say some things that maybe they should have kept to themselves. And in the process can make things worse. The classic story of this is the husband and wife driving home. Husband's driving, gets pulled over, and he gets confrontational with the officer, gets very rude. And the wife, trying to smooth things over, says, "Oh, officer, he's really a nice guy. He just gets this way when he's drunk." Okay, so don't be talkative. Okay, be polite to the officer, answer his questions, his or her questions, but don't volunteer anything, don't get talkative, and say things that could make matters worse. The 5th thing is, don't consent to a search. Now, oftentimes the officer will ask, do I have your consent to search the car? No. Politely state that you are asserting your 4th Amendment rights and that he will have to get a warrant. The officer may still search the vehicle anyway. He may be able to show probable cause or that he had a good enough reason to search. But if you don't give your consent, they still have to, the burden is on the state to prove that that was a proper search. And something that may be found in the process of searching your vehicle might be something as innocuous as an open container of alcohol, or it could be some drugs or other illegal things that you really shouldn't have in the car. But don't make it easy. Don't consent to the search. In this way, you're asserting your constitutional right and putting the burden on the state to prove their case and prove all the elements of the case, including probable cause for the search. There may be a defense there. So those are the top 5 things that I suggest you bear in mind when you're driving here in the Garden State that you shouldn't do if you get pulled over for a traffic ticket. Now, if that happens, you get a ticket here in Southern New Jersey, please feel free to give my office a call. Be happy to sit down with you, go over the ticket, see what defenses you may have, and what we can do to assert some defenses on your behalf.